What does it take to cause the narcissist to be the one to lose their mind for a change? Well, in today's video, I'm giving you 10 things empaths can do to cause the narcissist to be the one to lose their mind. You don't want to miss this. Let's get started. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tammy M. Joyce. I'm an empowerment life coach specializing in codependency and narcissistic abuse recovery for empaths, scapegoats, and awakening light leaders. If you're new to my channel, a very special welcome. Please take a second to say hello and introduce yourself in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a new video. So let's talk about 10 things that empaths can do to cause narcissists to lose their ever-loving minds. But first, a word of warning. What I'm about to share with you applies to those of you who know you're not in jeopardy of being harmed. You know that you're safe, you're confident and strong. It applies to those of you who are dealing with your average, pain in the neck, toxic human, otherwise known as the destructive narcissist. In other words, the empathy impaired emotional manipulator who feels entitled to target and exploit others in any number of ways. The emotionally and psychologically abusive narcissist whose toxicity is problematic, but isn't likely to stoop so low as to become violent. These strategies are not meant for those of you who are dealing with more high spectrum and therefore dangerous narcissists. If you're dealing with someone who is likely to become violent in any way and may harm you or anyone else who's vulnerable, this video is not for you. Got it? Good. Now with that out of the way, let's dive into the 10 things that empaths can do to cause the narcissist to lose their mind. Number 1, let them know you're on to them. Don't tell them, show them. With your attitude and your energy, let your facial expression and the vibe you carry say it all. Done right, you're letting them know that you see right through them. And when they realize that you see through them, that you're onto them, that you know what's behind the mask, when they know that you know just how toxic, fragile, and inadequate they actually are, when they know that you know how fragile their ego is, how fragile their false sense of self is, and how fragile, inadequate, and inferior their fake, phony facade really is, along with all the false bravado, or in the case of the covert narcissist, what a complete and utter BS the ongoing and never-ending victim story is, it's game over. And that alone can drive a narcissist insane. Number 2, remain completely non-reactive. If you want to drive a narcissist crazy, whatever you do, do not react. And what I mean by this is refuse to acknowledge their attempts to provoke you, to bait you, to hook your attention, and inspire an emotional reaction from you. In other words, refuse to engage, respond, argue, or defend yourself. Just refuse to fight back. Narcissists need emotional intensity. They need drama and chaos in order to feel alive. And they literally feed off of your emotional reactivity, which is why they work so hard to trigger it. Because in their sick mind, this is how they remind themselves just how special, superior, and important they are. In addition, they especially need a target, someone whom they can project onto. And what do they project? All of their deeply buried guilt, shame, and self-loathing, their own destructive attitudes, behavior, and relationship crimes. When you refuse to engage, when you refuse to fight back, when all of their cheap shots, hurtful criticism, personal attacks, and full-blown projections, meaning all of their deeply buried shadow self that they carry subconsciously, again, their own guilt, shame, and self-loathing, when they're dumping all of their crap onto you, and all of it is met with a flatline, unemotional non-reactivity, a complete blank stare, poker face if you must. But the point is, when you hold this posture, their nonsense has nowhere to land. They aren't getting their hit of narcissistic supply. No emotion, no energy equals no supply. And when you do this and their attacks and projections don't land, you don't take on any of their stuff. They literally cannot unburden themselves of the heavy load they carry. And let's be clear, it's their load to deal with. It's not your stuff, and it's certainly not your responsibility. So if you must say something, simply say, in as calm and unemotional a tone as you can manage, I understand. Here's the thing. You don't get to take your pain out on me anymore. And silence, not another word. This isn't a reaction. This is delivering information, period. So remember, narcissists need a chosen target, a human dumping ground, for the express purpose of unburdening themselves from their deeply buried, disowned shadow. All the stuff they carry subconsciously that they cannot own, accept, or acknowledge about themselves. So when you refuse to react, when you refuse to get into the ring with them, to roll around in the mud with them, when you refuse to engage or fight back, if you remain completely flatline and totally non-emotional and non-reactive, their stuff has nowhere to land, and they don't get to feel the relief of having dumped it all over you. The result of this level of detached self-control and emotional maturity on your part is precisely how the narcissist learns to the extent to which they're powerless over you. And nothing will drive a narcissist crazy, nothing will cause a narcissist to lose their mind faster than realizing they're powerless over you. Powerless to manipulate you, to affect you, to control you. Completely and utterly powerless. Number 3, radical honesty. Few things will drive a destructive narcissist crazy faster than the truth. Cold hard facts, baby. In other words, being brutally honest to a fault. Trust me, I grew up surrounded by people of this ilk. I dated a bunch of them in my past life and even worked with a few in my previous career. And I can tell you, looking back, the thing that drove them most nuts about me was my penchant for the truth. My tendency to speak my mind and call it as it is. It was fine for them to say whatever they wanted to, but nobody else gets to speak up or speak out. And here's a fun fact. The truth has a vibrational frequency 1,000 times more powerful than any lie ever will. That's why the truth wins every time. Maybe not immediately or instantaneously, but in the end, you can count on it. And those of us who carry this level of honesty in our field are highly disruptive and disturbing for the destructive narcissist. Even when we don't open our mouths, they can't quite put their finger on it, but something about us makes them very uncomfortable. It's the rays of truth in our field. Maybe not consciously, but on some level, they sense that frequency and they don't like it. It threatens to expose them and all the lies they live by. So learn to use radical honesty to your advantage. The thing is, narcissists are so comfortable with lies and deception that this level of honesty is completely foreign to them, and it causes them to squirm in ways that can be fascinating to watch. Don't forget, narcissists are highly manipulative and have a very fragile sense of self. When you stop telling them what they want to hear and instead start telling them the cold hard truth, what no one else has the strength or courage to say to their face, in particular when they've backed themselves into a corner, they'll likely disappear, and fast. And in my opinion, that's a very good thing. Can you imagine something as simple as the truth being that kind of powerful? A mentor of mine used to say the truth is always good enough. Words I will live by forever. Number 4, treat them with indifference. Treating a destructive narcissist to a healthy dose of indifference will drive them absolutely mad. Narcissists feel entitled to treat others with unwarranted and unprovoked contempt and disdain. But when the tables turn, they're often completely destabilized. They can't figure it out. It's a classic case of rules for thee but not for me scenario. The double standard. They can treat others like absolute goo on their shoe, but the moment they realize their existence means nothing to you, you're completely and utterly indifferent to their presence or whatever it is they think they have to offer, it drives them crazy. Which brings me to my next point. Number 5, rejection. Don't be fooled by the false persona, the mask. Although they hide it well, the majority of narcissists have a deep fear of rejection and abandonment. And while they might appear on the surface to be very confident and have strong self-esteem, this is often no more than an act, a facade. Underneath their false bravado is a fragile, insecure, and immature ego that needs constant bolstering, and few things can shatter that false confidence like rejecting them. When you show a narcissist that their opinion has zero sway over you, that their antics, control dramas, power dynamics, toxic gossip, all the loyalty conflicts they create, the perceptions they're busy trying to manipulate, all the nonsense that they bring to the table, when you show them that you couldn't care less, you're completely unaffected, not the slightest bit interested or impressed or bothered in any way, they know full well they're being rejected, and that blows their mind. They have no idea what to do with that. Now comment below and let me know whether or not you'll be using any of these strategies to turn the tables and permanently change the game with the destructive narcissist in your life. Let me know in the comments section below.